Our objective today is slope-intercept form, and it's the part 2. So we're dealing with writing equations of lines in slope-intercept form. So let's review. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M represents your slope, which is the steepness of your line, and b is your y-intercept, which represents where it crosses on the y-axis. X and y, they represent all the ordered pairs that make up that linear equation, that line that you're graphing. So first, let's look at how to find an equation given a point and a slope. So we all know that a line is made up of multiple points. So here, you're given your slope or your steepness as 3/4, and we know that this line has to cross through the ordered pair 8, -3. So to figure out the equation of the line, you also have to have your y-intercept, and they do not give that to you in your original information. So you have to use the information to find that. So step 1 says plug in the slope and the point into y equals mx plus b. Well, your point is representing x and y. So I'm going to plug in -3 for y equals m is my slope, so 3/4, times my x value, which is 8, plus b, because b we do not know, so we're just going to rewrite it as b. Step 2, we're going to solve for our y-intercept. So 3/4 times 8 is 6, and now we need to get b by itself by subtracting 6 on both sides. So my y-intercept equals -9. Now we have the two pieces of information that we need to write the equation. We have the slope and we have the y-intercept. So step 3 is rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals 3/4 as our slope, x minus 9 as your y-intercept. Let's look at another example. So this one we have our slope is 4, and it's passing through the point 2, 6. Remember, 2 represents our x value, 6 represents our y value. We're going to plug this into slope-intercept form. So 6 goes for y, 4 is in for m, 2 is for x, and we don't know b. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract 8 on both sides, so my y-intercept b value is -2. Now that I have my slope and my y-intercept, I can write the equation y equals 4x minus 2. 4 being my slope and -2 being my y-intercept, or where it's crossing the y-axis. Now you're not always going to be given a point and a slope. Sometimes you're just given points that you're supposed to graph and go from there. But we might not always have graph paper or be able to graph them. So we're using 2 points to write the equation on the line. Step 1 is you have to find your slope, find the steepness of that line. And we do that using the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you need to write here, this would be x1, y1, x2, y2. So I've got -1 minus 5 over 3 minus 0. -1 minus 5 is -6. 3 minus 0 is 3. This reduces to -2. So this is our slope. Once you have your slope, now you get to pick one of the ordered pairs they give you. It does not matter which one. You're going to get the same answer. So we're going to pick a point, and we have our slope, and plug it into y equals mx plus b, just like you did in the previous slide. So if I picked this first point, my y value is 5. We found our slope to be -2. Our x value is 0, and we don't know b. Or if you choose the second point, you would say -1 is your y value, still the slope is -2, and 3 is your x value, and we don't know b. The rest of the steps are the exact same as the slide previously. Solve for b first. Well, -2 times 0 is 0, so we're just left with 5 equaling b. If you did this point, you have -2 times 3 is -6. Add 6 to both sides. We also get 5 as our b value, our y-intercept. So what you should see is your y-intercept is the same no matter which point you choose to use. Now that I have my y-intercept and my slope, I can write my equation. Y equals -2x plus 5. All right, so let's look at some examples. Here we have our slope is -3 and it crosses at -1, 7. I know -1 is my x value and 7 is my y value. I'm going to plug it into slope-intercept form. So I have y is 7 equals m, -3, times the x, -1, and we don't know b. -3 times -1 is a +3. I need to get b by itself. So subtract 3 on both sides. I get our y-intercept, or our b value, to be 4. Now that I have b and m, I can write my equation, y equals -3x plus 4. Let's look at the next example. So I have slope is 2/5, and it crosses at 10, -8. So I know this is the x, this is the y. So I'm going to plug in -8 for y, 2/5 for my slope, and 10 for my x, and I don't know b. So now, 2/5, so we got -8, 2/5 times 5, 2 times 10 is 20, divide by 5, gives me 4, plus b. Subtract 4 on both sides, I get b to equal -12. Now I have my slope and my y-intercept, so my equation is y equals 2/5 x minus 12. Now both of those gave you a point in the slope. Our next two examples only give you points. So if you look here, I'm given 6, -4, and -3, 5. The first thing you have to do is find slope. So we know this is x1, x2, y1, oh, sorry, this is y1, x2, y2. So now we're going to find our slope. So 5 minus a -4 gives me 9. -3 minus 6 is a -9. 9 divided by -9 is a -1. Once I find my slope, I pick a point. It does not matter which one. I normally just pick the first point. So I have -4 is my y value, -1 is my slope, 6 is my x. I'm solving for b. Solve for b, I get my y-intercept is 2. I now know my slope and y-intercept, so I'm left with y equals -1x plus 2. You could also write this as y equals -x plus 2, as we don't have to write the -1. All right, so let's look at this next example. We know this is x1, y1, x2, y2. First, let's find the slope. So we've got 5 minus a -8 over -2 minus 3.
Miss Edwards, Miss Bond is looking for you.
We gotta wait, of course. Announcements.
An issue with you.
So we got 5 minus -8. Keep, change, gives me 13. -2 minus 3. So we got keep, change, gives me -5. So I have a -13/5. That's my slope. So now I'm going to pick one of the points. I'm going to go with the second point this time. So we've got 5 equals -13/5 times -2 plus b. When you multiply this, 13 times -2, so we got 5 equals 26/5, because a negative times a negative gives me a positive, plus b. Subtract 26/5 to both sides, and you get b equals a -1/5. Now I have the slope and the y-intercept, so I can say y equals -13/5 x minus 1/5. We can also use points in slope-intercept form to determine if the actual graph is going to be linear, a straight line. So VIC number 1 says 2 sets of data have a linear relationship if the rate of change between the consecutive pairs are the same. The rate of change is your slope. So if we find all the rates of change, they should be the same. If so, it would be linear because they have the same slope. So if we look here, it says, is the relationship linear? If so, write the equation. So to figure that out, we need to see the change from one x value to the next and from one y value to the next. So here, from 4 to 6 is 2, 6 to 7 is 1, 7 to 10 is 3. Here, -1 to 3 is 4, 3 to 5 is 2, and 5 to 11 is 6. So we found the changes in our x and y values. Now we need to see the rate of change by putting them together. And remember, rate of change is the vertical change over the horizontal. So vertical would be on my y values. We had 2. Horizontal change was 4. 2 over 4 reduces to 1/2. The next one, we had a vertical change of 1, horizontal change of 2. So we also have a 1/2. Here, vertical change of 3, horizontal change of 6. 3, 6 reduces to 1/2. If you notice, all of these are the same, meaning they have the same slope. Since they have the same slope, they are linear. Linear equals same slope. So now, since we have the same slope, we can actually find the equation of this line. We're going to use the slope that we found and pick any of these ordered pairs. So I could pick -1, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 11, 10. It doesn't matter. Just pick one of the ordered pairs they give you. So I picked just the first one. So we have y is 4. We found the slope of 1/2. And my x value is -1. We do not know my y-intercept. 1/2 times -1 is -1/2 plus b. Add 1/2 on both sides, I get 9/2 or 4.5. Now that I know my slope and my y-intercept, I can rewrite it as y equals 1/2 x plus 9/2. All right, sorry about the board falling. Let's look at some examples. So it says, is the relationship shown linear? If so, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So we have our set of data. I found the change of my y values and my x values. So from 9 to -3 is -12. -3 to -9 is -6. -9 to -17 is -8. Here we change from -4 to 2 is 6. 2 to 5 is 3. And 5 to 9 is 4. Find your rate of change, vertical over horizontal, or y over x. So -12 over 6 is -2. -6 over 3 is -2. And -8 over 4 is -2. Since we got all the same slopes or rate of change, we know that it's linear. Since it's linear, we can find the equation of the line. So we take our slope that we just found, and a point, I normally just pick the first one, and plug it in. So we've got 9 as y, -2 is my slope, -4 is my x, and I don't know b. Well, -2 times -4 is a +8. Subtract 8 on both sides, I get my y-intercept is 1. I now know slope and y-intercept, so my equation's -2x plus 1. Let's look at the next one. So we have the change from 1 to 4 is 3. 4 to 13 is 9. 13 to 49 is 36. We look over here. 3 to 6 is 3. 9 to 6 is 3. 9 to 15 is 6. So now it's the vertical change over horizontal change. So we've got 3 over 3, which is 1. 9 over 3 is 3. And 36 over 6 is 6. None of these are the same rates of change. Since they're not the same rate of change, this is not linear. And since it's not linear, we cannot find the equation of the line.